This is our view. Look at that. I don't know how well you can hear me, but so I'm going to talk really loud today because it's kind of loud in this boat. But today is a little bit of a sad day. Oh, because this is the last time we're taking the boat out. At least we're pulling it out of the water. We've been keeping it moored up in Seward, and it's time to take it home. It's Labor Day weekend. It's Saturday the 3rd, 2022, and we decided to take the boat out one last time. Even though it's really late. We didn't even pull out of the harbor until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we live 3 hours away from here. But, you know, it was supposed to be super rainy, and it's not great, but I'm going to show you here in a second. The water is really glassy. It was supposed to be 3-foot seas in here inside the bay, and 7-foot seas outside. I don't know what it is outside, but inside it's glassy. Check this out. Look at that. It's almost, you can't see anything. So, really cool. So we're hoping to catch some fish. And by the way, we also got ourselves a couple GoPros. Unfortunately, I don't have the case for one of them, so I had to order one because I got them used. But we're gonna be able to get some additional footage, hopefully, of actually catching fish this time. And I don't know if you just saw that salmon jump in the bay, but that was pretty cool. So now we have stopped in our fishing spot. You see David back there getting everything set up. He's gonna get us all set up. We're kind of waiting right now to see which way we're just gonna drift. We're not gonna anchor up. So we're gonna wait and see where how the water drifts us, and it looks like it's gonna put our nose south. You know, something I've never really done on these any of these fishing trips was kind of talk to you about fishing out here in Seward and what it's like, really. We come out in the bay. We come out to around Fox Island. Sometimes we'll go out to a place called Pony Cove and go fish there. We'll fish around Cain's Head. There's a bunch of little places. El Dorado Straits. And then, what's that island that we go around sometimes, David? Barrowell Island. So we never go that far out. We go anywhere from 13 to 25 miles out from Seward, and it's all still enclosed because it's a big bay. But we definitely like to come out here, and a lot of times we drift. We don't anchor up, and we probably would have better luck if we anchored, and we'd probably have better luck if we went into deeper water. We're typically fishing about 180 feet, and you know, there's fish there, but I don't think we've ever caught anything more. Well, I guess we've caught one time, you guys saw, we caught a 40-pound halibut. But mostly we're catching 12-pounders, and you know, they're small, but you catch 6 of them, and that's quite a bit of food, you know, so that's what we do. Woo, we got a lot of sway. And we got 3 lines in. David's dropping his down now. Martha's already on the bottom. And mine is over here. Let's see. Mine's over here, kind of jigging itself. I'm about to pull it out of the rod holder and just hold on to it myself. Because with the drifting, we tend to, you know, change depths often. And you want to make sure that you're being consistent near the bottom on this. So this is what we typically fish with, is we go down, we buy ourselves some frozen herring, and we'll cut it in half or cut it in thirds depending on the size, and we put those on circle hooks. Oh, Martha just said that I had something. No, that's the movement of the ocean. Okay, so I guess I don't. Anyway, back to here. So we'll put these on circle hooks. I'll show you the circle hooks next time somebody comes up. David typically likes to fish with a jig, which has a, you know, a squid tail, or I don't know what they call it, but it's got a little bit of a tail on it, and he throws it down there, and I don't know why he's reeling up, but to probably check his bait, because it seems like we're getting nibbles, but at the same time, this fish is really frozen, so it may not be thawed, and it may not, they may go up to it, and you know, they're nibbling on it, and they're like, ooh, this is frozen, this isn't fish, this is a trap. They know, man, they know. Oh. So this is what David is using. He's got, bring it in here, buddy. Oof, lots of wake, lots of. So, yep, he's got some nibbles on it. He's been getting some bites, but this lead head, it glows in the dark down there, and then you can see that he's gotten a few nibbles on that piece of herring he's got strung up on his bait, or on his jig. Anyway, this is what they'll bite, and if you know you get a big one, they'll bite that whole thing, and even a 12-pounder will get that sucker lodged in his throat. So I just wanted to show you guys right here in the middle of Resurrection Bay, we've got this one island that just comes up out of nowhere, and it's just that small. It's just tiny, and if you look here, you can see that you know, it's a sheer drop right there. I mean, this is really cool. It's beautiful. Over here, you know, I just want to show you, I don't know how well this is going to come out on the camera, but it's really stunning in person. And I tell you, I'm extremely sad. Oh, look, over there we actually have nice skies. Look at that. That is called El Dorado Narrows right there. And then here on the right side, this is the northern side of Fox Island. What I wanted to say is that I'm extremely sad and disappointed because we're taking the boat out today. We're taking it out of the water, and we probably won't be back the rest of this year. And so this is a closer. This is, you know, a little bit of a closure for us. This is, you know, this is it for this year. 2022 fishing season is kind of over, and we have spent a lot of time, lots of waves. We have spent a lot of time on the ocean this year, and I didn't film all of them because it's very hard to film. That's why I bought those GoPros. But wow, I don't know if you can see this, but look at that! Holy cow! The water, we are really moving, and we must have got hit by the wake of a really big ship that passed some time ago because there's nothing around us. But anyway, I'm really sad that that this is it, because we have been out here a lot this year. We probably have come out fishing in Seward 12 times, you know, and first trip was May 7th. Last trip today, May, June, July, August, September. So in 4 months, we probably come out 12 times. And the only reason we hadn't come out more is because we had to take a couple trips up to, or not a couple trips, we took a trip up to Fairbanks, and then my brother came down and saw us a couple weeks after that. It was an amazing summer for us this year. We had, holy cow, we are drifting. Look at this. We are very close. I got to go in and move us. So what I started to say was we had an amazing summer this year. We got to go out and explore all over Resurrection Bay, and we got to catch a bunch of fish. We caught halibut, we caught black rockfish, we caught a lot of Pacific cod. We caught Today marks the first time, you know, we tried to record it with a GoPro. We've never used a GoPro, and so hopefully we got it. But today marks the first time ever that we anyway, have brought a yellow eye rockfish into the boat. So check this out. All right, so David caught his first ever yellow eye rockfish. Look at this sucker. It's beautiful. Now, you know, you can see why they call it the yellow eye, because of the yellow eye. And a lot of people will call this a red snapper, though it's really not. It's just a red rockfish. And the rules up here are that you're allowed one of these per person per day. Beautiful guy, huh? Here, oh! There he is. Look at that. We dropped that poor little guy. But you can see here these spines. They say, I don't know if it's true, but they're allegedly toxic. There's poison in the spines. But look at that. So anyway, that about wraps up our video. No, it doesn't. What am I saying? Hey guys, as you can see, we're not in Kansas anymore. And today, we are going to fillet this rockfish that we just caught yesterday. So it is now the next day, and unfortunately, we're filleting it at home rather than there, because we got back to the dock too late, and there's a lot of things to do with the boat. But we are going to go ahead and fillet this up right now, and we're going to show you how. And while we're doing it, I'm going to show you that we just got a new Cutco fillet knife. I don't know if you recall some of my old videos. You've seen me use mine, which is an orange handle. Here we bought one with a black handle, and we're going to kind of review this for another video. So go look for that, the Cutco review video, and let's get started. So first things first, we want to rinse this. Woo, that's dirty water in the hose. We want to rinse it because they do get slimy and they get nasty, and yikes, this is ugly. Ouch. So these scales are extremely pointy and extremely sharp, and you gotta even, I don't know if you can see this, but they even have picos, I don't know how to say that in English, stabby little things, prickly things on their gills.
Spines?
Yeah, spines, there you go. They even have spines on their gills. This is where he was sitting on the ice on the way home last night. So, let's up the pressure here. Let's get this all washed off. Let's get to filleting. Oops, raised my hand. Let's get to filleting. So, this is going to be very similar to any cod. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to explain is that we're not going to scale this, and the reason is because we are going to fillet it, and we're going to cut the skin off afterwards. And it's a lot easier to cut the skin off after than it is during. But you want to kind of start here, behind the fin, poke through, and then cut down all the way to the back. You want to come around here, Dave? So much like all these other fish that we've been cooking, you want to cut down all the way to the back. We're going to go all the way to the belly. Man, this is a rough fish. The scales on these things are pretty tough. I'm going through a pin bone or something here. That's why. There we go. All right. You can see we're hollow in here, and we are going to just get, you know, this actually don't have as many guts as you would think, and maybe it's because his belly is in his mouth. So one of the things we want to do is we're going to go ahead and cut right along the side of the spine, just to get that skin loose. Just going to pull it out. Then here I'm going to, like I do with all the other fish, I'm just going to cut it at the tail. I'm going to come back much like we do with halibut and cod. We're just going to follow those ribs. Look at that. Beautiful, huh? Then, as we get to these ribs, you can see, like the cod, we're going to kind of just roll up over the top of those ribs. Let's get those.
So this is how, excuse me, bud, go over the top of that spine that runs along the lateral line of the fish. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to go up over the top of the ribs. Let's move this guy back. So go up over, get into these pin bones that hold the meat to the ribs. Go up right over the top of them. Ow, I just stabbed myself. Right up to the top there. Right over the top. And as soon as we get past those bones, I'm going to punch through. No, we shouldn't do that. So, you know, it's funny, I'm sitting here explaining how to do this, and the truth is, this is my first time too. I've just done a lot of cod this year, and I have learned from watching others how to fillet these rockfish. Look at that. It's a small little guy, but that's a beautiful fillet. Now, let's go ahead and turn her over. Him, her, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Probably to the, it probably matters to the propagation of the species. But for us, it doesn't matter. There we go. Oi, that is something else right there. There we go. All the way across. Get through those pin bones that are so pesky. Got some here. Once again, and just go right along that back. And believe it or not, cutting down these things is easier than a halibut or a cod, in my opinion, as I'm finding. Look at this. Oops, I'm leaving some. Wasn't my intention. There we go. Gosh darn it. There we are. Look at that.
That's a whole nice blue butter.
Look at that. Just clean that off. This is a little bit, there's still food on there, and you know, I could have cut it probably a little bit better, but you know, it's a first go, and the dogs will enjoy that. So let's go to, I'm going to rinse these off again, and what we're going to do after we rinse them is we're going to skin them. And you skin them just like you do a cod, just like you do halibut. So rinse. These things have big scales on them, big old nasty scales. So I'm going to take this fillet, go across. Let me show you something about this Cutco blade. This is currently a 6-inch knife, but one of these sides lifts. There we go. When you need it a little bigger, you can extend it to an 8-inch, or it also, golly, it's rough to move. It'll also pinch off at 7, I believe. So there. Now you can really get in there, bend that knife, and get to those fillets. Nice and clean. Look at that. Set that in there. This skin, go right in the garden. or in our case, it'll go right into the forest. Again, we're going to just go right across the face. Bend that knife and get down along the face of that skin. Cut out some of the bloodline there. Apparently that right there would be better cut out. There we go. That is a red rockfish, guys. Rinse it one more time. And we're going to be cooking this next. We are now back in the kitchen. It's the next day, as I told you in the last video, or in the last segment rather, that we're going to cook up this rockfish. Now, this is the rockfish we caught yesterday. This is the yellow eye red rockfish. And this is some rockfish that we caught, I don't know, maybe a month ago. Also in Seward, of course. But this is what we're also going to eat tonight. So, we want, what we're going to make is a Parmesan pistachio encrusted rockfish. And where we're going to start is we're going to take some pistachios, put them in a Ziploc bag, and then beat them with this, because I don't have anything else. You can use a food processor, you can use a hammer, you can chop them with your knife, however you want to get them. You know, just get them finely. I like it a little bit finer than some other recipes, because I'm going to mix it in with the panko as well as the Parmesan cheese. So let's take a look at that real quick, and let's get that processed, and then we'll get these set up on a pan. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a big pan like this and we're going to grease it. And then we want to find what we call the presentation side. This is the underside, so I'm going to put that side up first. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to salt and pepper the underside as well as the top before we get going on this. I've seen a lot of recipes where they just season the top of the fish and then that's where they kind of leave it. But I prefer to have my fish nicely seasoned, and so we're going to go ahead and do the bottom, flip it over, do the top, and then we're going to put the mixture on. So let's get doing that. So what I like to use is this Spade L fish and seafood seasoning here, and I'm just going to put some on the bottom. So I'm going to take it in my hand, sprinkle it along the bottom just to get a nice flavor on the bottom of this fish. And on the top, we're just going to do salt, pepper, and maybe a little garlic. When it comes to salting this, you know, you probably want to use a coarse salt or a kosher salt. I don't have any on hand, so I'm just going to use table salt. But if you don't have kosher salt and all you have is table salt, it helps to do the whole sprinkle thing, because then you at least look like a pro or an idiot. It's all going to depend on who else is in the kitchen with you. If you're by yourself, you definitely look like a pro. If your wife and kids are in there making fun of you, you probably don't want to do that again. But I think we look like pros in here. Definitely not cons or ex-cons even. So a little bit of pepper on here. And then I think what I'm going to do, just as a disclaimer, I've actually never made this fish before. So I've never done this recipe. So we're going to see. We're going to start out by putting panko crumbs into our bowl. And that's probably sufficient for as much as we have in fillets. And then I'm going to add my crushed up pistachios. And we're going to go heavy on those. We really like pistachios. I'm going to mix that as well as some Parmesan cheese. And this is the grated Parmesan. We're going to get that nice and mixed in there. And then after I get it mixed, what I'm planning to do is I melted down about 5 or 6 tablespoons of butter, and I'm gonna pour it in here as a binder, and then I'm gonna get in and mix it around so it gets all over everything. See that? Get in here, mix that around, and that's gonna act as a binder. And I can feel butter all over those crumbs at this point. And so now we are going to take this breading, and we made way more than we actually need. But that's okay, maybe I can freeze it, I don't know. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this mixture that we just made, and we're gonna lay it over the top of the fish. Kind of push it into it. You know, we're gonna layer it heavy because we really want that crust in there. We wanna push it in, and as this cooks, it should all bind, and we should be good. So, again, I've never seen anybody do this, I'm sorry, I've never done this, and I've seen other similar recipes, but not this. This is kind of my take on how to get this in here, or how to do this. And we'll see. We'll see if it's any good. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. We do a lot of cooking, we do a lot of fishing. I've not really recorded any of our, you know, how to cook fish videos as of yet, and I really should, because I've got a lot of recipes. And one of the recipes that we like to do is I'll do a salmon chowder. Now, the last time we did it, we did a smoked salmon chowder, and I think I actually prefer the baked salmon that we end up putting in the fish. So what I'll do there is I'll bake the salmon before I start the soup, and then I'll put that salmon, I'll break it up and put that salmon in the soup, and I really like that. But today's meal is going to not only be Parmesan encrusted rockfish, we're also going to cook a garlic cheesy mashed potatoes and asparagus. So we're going to show you those as well, but not really as in depth, I think. So these are ready to go, and now we're talking, I preheated the oven to 450, I'm sorry, 400 degrees, 450, and we're gonna put this in for about, I'm gonna put the timer for 12 minutes, but I'm gonna check it at 10, because I think that's really where we wanna be. What we're gonna do with this is I like to take a little bit of olive oil, and oops, before I do that, I need to get the paper towels near me so that I can wash my hands off a little bit. But I'm gonna just go and sprinkle a little bit of olive oil all along. Oops, that's not sprinkling. There it goes. All along the asparagus. Not a whole lot, just a little. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically grease all of them up in this oil and get it rubbed around so that I've got olive oil on the entire stock. And that's going to help it cook, right? So I spread it out once again. Spread it out nice and thin as I can get it. Wipe my hands with the olive oil. And then I'm going to take some pink Himalayan salt. And then I just put a bunch of salt on. Well, it looks like a bunch. Sounds like a bunch. Really not that much. And I'm going to completely cover this. And then I'm going to mix it again. And then these just go on the grill. And I like to do it until they're a little bit crispy, or you know, we like them a lot cooked. We like them a little bit on the blackened side. So that's all there is to the asparagus. Next, we're going to do the mashed potatoes. All right, guys. So now we are about to make our mashed potatoes. So I've already boiled the potatoes, and I put in Shoot, I think that was a full bar for this many potatoes. Because I want to make buttery potatoes. I might actually end up adding more. We'll see. But what I'm going to start with is I'm going to put in some sour cream. Because I want these to be creamy. I want them to be cheesy. And I want them to be I want you to be able to eat these mashed potatoes without having to have a gravy. Right? So it wants to be the focal point. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put in some pepper. Again, what I'm trying to do is just get these to be desirable without any gravy. And I know my family likes gravy. Again, table salt. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw in some onion powder. I'm going to throw in garlic powder. I like a lot of garlic. I'm also going to throw in the Parmesan cheese that we used on the fish so that there's a little bit of a consistency to the flavor. And then lastly, as far as what's going in the potatoes at this point is just some milk. So we're not going to put too much milk yet. And now we're just going to beat this. I've done it, I've tasted them, they're really good, but like I said, I really want these to be cheesy. So at this point, I am going to take some of this cheese, and this is just they call it a Fiesta blend or whatever. It's a Mexican blend, I guess. And mostly just because that's all we have in the house. And so I'm going to mix this in. I'm going to use the beater here in a second, but I think this is all I'm going to do to them because it's got good garlic, it's got good salt, it's got good, you know, everything tastes good. I just want them a little bit cheesier, and that's it. So let's take a look at the final. We're about to pull the asparagus off of the grill. Let's take a look at the final plate. Okay, so what ended up happening is I put the asparagus outside to be cooked on the grill, and when I went out there, our pan is a little wonky, huh? But when I went out there, we apparently ran out of propane. So now I finished it off in the oven. And so here we go. And it looks perfect for what we like. Thank you, son. And that pan's a little wonky too.
The Wonky Brothers.
All right, so let's get this on a plate. This is our plate here, and I think it actually looks fantastic. So the real test is, how does it taste? And let's find out. Wow, that's actually really good. Surprised, but kind of not surprised because I tend to do pretty well, but that still surprises me how good that is. Paired with these mashed potatoes, it's fantastic. So, I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share the video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Bye.